Hi, Heather.
Woo! Hooray! The
Oh,
tech
this
working.
this is wonderful. Our Zoom can work.
Oh, yes. I don't use Zoom very much anymore since the pandemic is over. So,
Yeah.
well, visually. So,
Well,
oh,
thank you so much for doing this interview, and I am so excited to have you sing one of your compositions, and I'm just thrilled.
yay.
And everyone can hear, and you can write music for your voice with this
Well,
extraordinary range and extraordinary color and drama, and I just think it's fantastic.
well, thank you so much, and thank you for giving me the platform. And I do think that this piece, kind of the spirit lends itself well to the choral artists of Carmel, and it's in its essence in a way. So,
Wonderful. Well, I will just get right in with the interview, but before that, I've got to introduce you. People have to hear a few things about your accomplishments. So under highlights and awards, your bio lists the Bridges Vocal Scholarship Competition finalist, the Mellon Grant for Creative Research Grant winner, and then the LISMA, LISMA Scholarship Selected Recipient. And that doesn't even talk about all the opera companies and orchestral solos that you've done, but I'll say that the New York Times, Alan Cosson said, Ms. Green's searing, powerful performance was spellbinding. So I think that's pretty good coming from a.
well, I'm very grateful to Mr. Cosson for writing that because I'm getting a lot of mileage out of that quote over the years. No, but
But it's well deserving because I know your singing and I know your voice and how wonderful to be recognized. But in addition to that, you truly are an international vocal artist that was born in Pennsylvania, USA,
this is true.
on a farm. And now you're living in Berlin, Germany. And 2023, you made your debut in the Berlin Staatsoper in the opera Sleepless. And you've also sung the title role in Elektra with the Musik für Musik in Berlin. And you hold a couple of degrees from the Pratt Institute of Art and Design. So, welcome. Oh my gosh, you've been busy. And
Yeah, you, Robin.
yeah, so congratulations on all of that. That's like that's huge accomplishment. So I'm going to start with what are your earliest memories as a musician?
So, my mother would say from the age of 4, I said that I wanted to be a singer, but I don't actually remember saying that. What I remember most, honestly, as my first musical memory is being really spellbound from this song, by the song from the Oak Ridge Boys, Elvira. I don't know if you remember this song,
I
but
do, I do.
there's this really low bass line where the guy goes bop mau mau, and I was like, this line just like stuck in my head as a small child, and I was just like, wow, that is amazing. And I think that you know that was the first kind of sonic musical experience that really stuck with me. And then over the years, I would say that there's like always been this two-tier path for me musically. One is just being really fascinated by sound and what the voice can do and what combinations of sounds and harmony and dissonance can do. That's one of my trajectories. And then the other one is definitely being fascinated by narrative and musical narrative and the emotional effect that that can have on people. And in terms of like and that comes into the more singer-songwriter category. I remember as a teenager listening to my father's Harry Chapin records and these really soulful stories of people living their lives. And so I think actually, the song that I am bringing this time to our concert does sort of fall into that more narrative category in a way. But maybe I should close this part of the question off and let you continue on to the next question.
Okay, and what is your musical education?
So I am very largely self-educated as a musician. The degrees that you so kindly mentioned, I have one degree in sculpture and I have a degree in massage therapy. Um, so even though I have been singing for 20 years plus, I don't have any degrees from conservatories. Here and there, I've taken a class or two in like music theory, but never in depth. And I've always found music voice teachers over the years, but a lot of what I have learned has just been from listening to the works of composers on my own and figuring out what really moved me and how they did that. And uh, I feel like this has advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantages as both a singer and I mean, I'm very much a baby composer. So, but are the lack of connections. However, what one really gains is the freedom to really experience and investigate works of music without an externally pressed upon expectation of what music should be. Like someone said to me a while ago, oh, if you're going to be seriously composing, you really need to study counterpoint. I'm like, how hubristic to think that I don't know about counterpoint just because like do you think like are you Palestrina? But yeah, so I mean, I don't want to recreate everything that has already been heard. I so basically, yeah, I would say that I'm a little bit of an outsider musician in that um, I've found my education along the way.
Well, I actually I hear that in your music, and I'm completely fascinated. You sent me two more links, and they're 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 just amazing. I mean, I'm working on immediately how to program them so people can hear them because our backgrounds and our education is all so unique, and you are utilizing what you are and who you are, and it's very refreshing. It's very beautiful to hear. And then I guess, well, you've already explained a little bit of this, but what inspires you to compose?
So I think I feel a drive to create a space for emotional resonance. I think earlier I might have said earlier in my life, earlier in my journey as a singer, I think what really inspired me to move toward classical and that type of vocal music is I really felt like it had a healing power And I remember when I was first starting to sing, I was already in my mid-20s. I was in a group vocal class, and I knew that one of the women in the class had just lost her mother, and she was really grieving. And I was just like, I was working on Care Selve. It was very, the Handel piece,
Mm.
Handel. And I was like, I'm just gonna make this for her. In my mind, I'm gonna make this for her to give her some small amount of peace. And so I sang it in my mind to her. And after the class, she came up to me and she hugged me and she said, I know what you did. Thank you so much. And so it's so meaningful. Yeah. And I didn't say anything. I just like, this is good. This is for her. I hope she gets that. And she did. And I was like, wow, so I would say,
Mm.
I feel now to say that like, that whatever I can do can be healing. I feel like that's uh, egoistic. But what I would say is that we all have these emotions that we grapple with, and to be able to give sound to those feelings, and that someone else who has those feelings can hear that. And in this kind of space of emotional resonance, there's at least a feeling that you're not alone. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. And
Oh,
it's not
yeah.
just, yeah. So it's not just that. I also like to explore with like, more intellectual things, but it's giving that people that kind of place to think and feel. Yeah.
Wow, that's very powerful. Very powerful. And 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 then can you explain your compositional process?
So I really just try to bring the sounds that I hear in my head into the real world. And so um, whatever, it can be something simple like the for instance with Star Song, I purposely kept the melody sort of simple because I do see it as a lullaby. I wanted to be very comforting, and so I just try to make the sound that I hear on my head understandable in what we read as Western music so that it can be replicated in the real world. So that's pretty much my process.
Wow, that's so wonderful. And I hear all of what you're saying in your compositions. And this is so helpful to me in listening, and it's just such a fascinating process. How do we how do we compose? Why do we compose? What's the inspiration? What happens? It's all just an amazing gift, and I can't thank you enough for sharing this with us, because I would love to after the concert. Actually, I'm gonna, for everyone, I want to, in my concert, their compositions, I want to post it on the internet and to listen to the Zoom interview that we're now recording so that they can learn more about the beauty and the power and the intent when we hear sound and singing in the human voice. So thank you. Thank you ever
Thank
so
you so
much.
much, Robin, for encouraging me to be a part of this with you. I feel very grateful, and I can't thank you enough.
Well, thank you, and I look forward to hearing you sing next Sunday, November 3rd, your star song with electric guitar, and we have an player, Peter Lemberg, and your guitarist is Simon Stewart.
Well, thank you, and thank you to the guitarist and oboe player as well. I'm very grateful, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.